Murder on the Orient Express is directed by Kenneth Branagh and stars quite a big cast. You got Johnny Depp, Judi Dench, Josh Gad, Daisy Ridley, among others. And this is the story that's based on a book that was actually written in the 1930s on the same name. Basically, that builds the story about a famous detective or world detective named Pavel or something like that. I can't remember his name. Or Poirot, I think his name.
Yeah.
Basically, he's a detective who's so good at, like, he's basically like the modern day Sherlock Holmes.
Yes.
He can, like, uncover stuff and after putting the pieces together.
He's considered one of the best detectives in the world.
Yeah.
And he's been in history, going through and solving crimes. And this book, this is the third adaptation to a movie. One was in the 55, I think it was, and the other one was in the 70s, 78 or something, and this is the third one.
Yeah.
It's been adapted. Yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen the other two films.
I haven't either.
Read the book, so this is the first time even hearing about this.
Yeah.
But basically, this story deals with, there's a train that all these characters, there's a whole group of characters that are on this train, going on this train that's going out in the snow, basically. Yeah. I forgot where they're at, but they're traveling.
Yeah.
And
don't really disclose much of the location other than the beginning where it starts out where he's in Egypt and shit like that, but it really doesn't really go into that much detail. I guess like he was going as like a more of a leisure of retirement because he was technically retiring.
Yeah, he very much was. And so when he goes on this trip that's on this train, he comes across a lot of different sort of characters that you see that are very colorful, features all the big cast. Like you got Johnny Depp playing kind of the art dealer type guy who looks kind of like a gangster type of guy. You also got Judi Dench, who's like the kind of the queen looking woman, and then you got Michelle Pfeiffer as well. We forgot to mention is in this, and William Dafoe, and among others. Basically, he comes across all of them on the train, and there's basically not going to go into detail because we keep spoilers at a minimum as much as we can. There's a murder that happens on the train, which is in the trailer. We won't say who it is, but basically there's a murder that happens, and it's up to his character, the detective, to identify all the people that were on the train to find out who did it.
Yeah.
And
it's like your modern day who
did it, basically.
Yeah, it's a clue on the train.
If you remember Clue from the 80s, it's basically like that.
Yeah.
And I gotta tell you, I was actually kind of looking forward to this movie when I saw the trailers for it, because I actually like these type of mystery type movies.
I get into the mysteries, but I also like the big ensemble cast they had.
Yeah, this one had a huge cast, and I love the way that they have all these together because it makes you question which one did it, basically.
Yeah.
And so I can honestly say, after watching the film, I can honestly say I was kind of disappointed with it.
Yeah.
It's now, if we're talking about mystery films this year that have come out based on the solving the murder and everything, this was better than The Snowman, but way under Wind River, because Wind River I felt like was a great movie.
It was an awesome movie.
But with this one, to basically get into my pros with the film, I'll say that all the casts in this film are phenomenal.
Oh yeah, the casting is straight perfection. Everybody played their part awesome.
Yes, everyone to a T,
including the main guy, the detective
Branagh.
Kenneth Branagh with his mustache. Man, and he captures that Sherlock Holmes accent really tight well.
Well, he's French, basically.
Well, he captures that era, though, that time where they spoke the way they did.
Yeah, well, he's basically, he's very charming, he's very intellectual, because he can really identify things on the little subtle moments, and he's really funny, too, in parts.
Yeah, he is funny. I did like some of the little tiny comedy they added to it.
Yeah, so you can really, I think he's the one that really carries this film a lot the most, because you get into the other performances, too, and everyone pretty much plays a great personality with their characters. And I love the way that when he identifies who's basically behind the culprit, he identifies every one of them, and they all kind of keep vague clues about what happens.
Yeah, and the film did very good on hiding, because a lot of mysteries lately, I've been kind of guessing the killer pretty fucking fast.
Yeah.
And this one did. I will bring up something I kind of noticed, but it did pretty good on. It kept it to where you are sitting there trying to choose and you're wrong or something. But my other pro to this film was this cinematography visuals is actually really stunning and really pretty shot, beautiful shot. But there is something I'll mention my cons about that. But it's just one of my, something just to add to this. But overall, it's a visually stunning film.
Yeah, it is,
and the costume design is pretty.
Oh yeah, definitely. It really captures the era of the 30s in this film quite well, and it almost seems like from the direction that Branagh was going for, it felt like a movie that probably would have came out of the 70s.
Yes.
Basically, I'm just saying on the way that it's kind of structured and the way that the characters are resembling that era of the 30s, basically.
Yeah.
And well, that's one of another pros I have too. I love the way the direction is with this because you have like shots where characters are doing long takes where they're going from one side of the train and then doing these long takes where they're walking toward a long period, and it basically stays on that character for a majority.
Or it does like the
like an overshed, like an overtop view where you just see the top of their head.
Camera work is really good on this. I agree with you. And another thing I gotta say is we can't tell you the ending, but the ending, when you kind of like really didn't see it coming, but if you pay attention on one little thing, you might. But overall, the ending was pretty like emotional, good closure.
I actually did enjoy it. Yeah, it actually brought into some things that I found very fascinating. I was like, oh wow, yeah, I can actually really buy that now. That actually makes sense. So I highly enjoyed that aspect.
Yeah. Now there ain't really much you can really bring up to this film. Like it was a. What do you think about the score?
I actually enjoy the music. I think there's only like one piece I enjoy, and it's really the piece that we really see, like, not going to spoil, but there's an important part in the film that when it plays the music, I actually got very emotionally invested.
Yeah, towards that end. Yeah, I did too.
I actually really enjoyed that piece of the music.
I did
but
too.
The rest of the score is fine. It's just that it's that piece of music that really sticks out for me for the best.
Yeah. There ain't much we can really describe in the pros because, unfortunately, this film has a lot of disappointing things going on in this film. I'm going to start off my first thing with the cons. And this is the biggest complaint I've heard, and I got to agree. This film is boring for the most part. The pacing. I had a hard time. The pieces are there. It's just, when you make something that overly drawn and boring, it makes you kind of really don't care for the good stuff because you're just like, oh my god, this is dragging, come on.
Yeah, I got you on that.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of the problem is the fact that it is taking its time trying to investigate the murder and everything, but you'll have like incidental scenes that are not necessarily need to be there to kind of. I mean, it's supposed to make you feel invested with what's happening. It's just that I felt like it dragged a lot because the film is very dialogue heavy.
Yeah. And the dialogue starts good. It's just he draws the scenes out to where you're like, oh my god, when is this gonna end and go to the next scene?
Well, that's the thing too. Is that
and then even though we like the mystery behind it, so you're gonna expect coming back to the other character and question him again, but at the same time, it does feel like it's in repetitive in line. Like I'm gonna go to this person, that person, that person, that person, and when I'm down the line, I'm gonna go back again, do it again. It's like he's going in that too exact like that. It's like, I was kind of like the pacing and everything, dude. It really takes you out of the feel of this film.
Yeah, especially because as it goes along too. You do have scenes that you're trying to really capture, you're trying to get into what's happening. It's just that it takes a long time trying to pick up on things because they would be over-exaggerating certain points to kind of basically explain a lot of exposition dialogue to kind of pinpoint backstory with some characters that you're getting into, but at the same time, they drag out a lot of the dialogue sequences.
Yeah. Now, and there is another complaint I did hear on a couple reviews, and I'm kind of like, it doesn't tear me apart too bad, but I do gotta complain this just for a little bit of a con. Because the cast is so big, people do feel like there's a couple characters that don't really feel like they ain't part. Why are they there? Because they're so, you know what I'm saying? They're so big of a cast that there are characters in here that they don't have enough time to go to.
That's what I'm saying. If the film probably could have maybe had a little bit more layers that they could have added with the characters, maybe could have I'm not saying that they could have maybe trimmed out stuff, but also add more to the running time to kind of build more with those characters. I felt like because they kind of underutilized some of them, you don't really feel like you really feel to spend time with them to try to understand where they're coming from.
Yeah, and I will tell you, I did say that visually cinematography was stunning in this film. What I was trying to get to in my con department, there are some parts that you do feel like it's very green screenish.
Yeah.
It just really it's so obviously CGI'd and green screened. It just really like kind of bothered me, because there's films that can do that very well without making it so obvious, and then there's films that really take it to the next level, like The Revenant, and actually really shoot in those areas. You can tell a lot of this is green screen.
Yeah, you can tell that. Well, I guess I didn't see as much as you did, but at the beginning I did kind of notice there were parts, like when you first see the train and stuff, it looks very CGI-ish.
Yeah.
So
despite it being still a visually stunning film.
Yeah. But I get what you're saying. So, and that's the thing too, is that as far as the mystery things go, when the film is leading you on into certain things that are happening, there are things, I'm glad they didn't take this, but at the same time I kind of felt like they were going to go with that approach, because even though I enjoy the way the twist comes about, I did feel like there was something that didn't add up necessarily. Like, as far as what they built up to it with.
And it's funny,
because we don't want to go into detail, but it is something that's like, your question, like, that? Yeah. They didn't really, it seems very convenient.
Yeah, and it's pretty funny, because you think, if you actually really can catch on to films like these very easy, and you're really good at, like, really solving the story yourself while it's going along, there is something that is, like, second grade basic, and if you pay attention, and you'll know when you watch this film, if you pay attention to this one little minor, little second grade-ish mistake, you kind of really know that it's going to end the way it is.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I don't want to go into detail at all, because that will spoil it, but I so bad, I just wish I could talk about it, because I could explain that better, but I'm hoping the people who did see it and they hear me say this hopefully get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. But there's more we can go into detail, but that's really the general premise, because really, I mean, it is a very straightforward mystery.
Yeah, and we can't really judge it off this merit, because me and him's never read the book, or we've never seen the other two movies, but I heard, like, the ones who have seen all and read the books said that this movie made the biggest mistake, again, going by verbatim from the book, and ending the same way the movies ended. In the book, which is stupid, because if you done seen any of that, then you go into this and you're like,
they didn't really change much.
Point?
Yeah, they didn't really change much.
Yeah.
So, but with this one, I can say that it's still it's still an average film, but I feel like it could have been a lot better than what it could have been.
And I just wish that he can, like, fix the whole pacing, because that pacing really takes you out big time, because you gotta think this is a 2-hour movie. So if your movie's gonna be born in dialogue, that's 2 hours. You get bored real fucking quick.
Well, you gotta also understand too, Kenneth Branagh is known for making his films very dialogue driven, because in the past, before he did like Thor and all that, or Thor from 2011, he basically, for a while, was directing films based on Shakespeare. So a lot of his films were very dialogue heavy.
Yeah.
So, but I appreciate what the film was doing with me, but I felt like it could have been a lot better where it came from, or what they could have done with it. So with that, I'm going to give the film probably a 5 out of 10.
Yeah. I'm going to have to go with him on the Murder on the Oriental Express. I'm going to have to go with 5 out of 10.
Fair enough. Well, for those of you who have also seen Murder on the Orient Express, what did you guys think of it? And also the book and the other adaptations as well. Let us know in the comments. And if you like what you see here, you can feel free to like and subscribe to our channel and check out some of our other reviews. And we'll be seeing you, and also check out our website at filmfreaks.com. And we'll be seeing you in our next review. We'll see you later.
Okay.